Really like to know, if you don't mind, how the idea came about. How
Okay.
did you think about the idea and how did you go through with it? Because it's one thing to have the idea, it's another thing to kind of embark on the journey.
To be perfectly frank, there's a lot of accidents that happened, but I think many of us actually find that with our careers, so to speak. I met my business partner, my business partner and soon to be co-director Anya Fishnich, when I was working as the interim sustainability manager at London South Bank University. And I gave her a copy of probably what is my favourite book ever, which is Mike Berners-Lee's How Bad Are Bananas? And I handed it over to Anya and said, okay, go and create a game for the Go Green Week. And she came back with the game concept and it was just so amazing. I was like, there's no way we can leave this in one university. This actually has to get out there and have a life of its own. From there, we started to rent and sell a version of the game into the higher education sector. And then we found ourselves with the pandemic, and obviously selling physical games is not going to work when you can't actually have a physical game experience. And so we knew that we needed to get some funding to actually produce this into a digital version. But all of our customers up to this point had said, yeah, we want a digital version, so we know there's a market for it.
What do you see as the possibility, the huge possibility in your product?
But we're in a climate emergency and we have to do something about it right now. And essentially, what we're bringing to the world through the carbon footprint game is a way to open people's eyes and open their minds and make them realise that we all have a part to play in actually making these reductions.
But I can imagine there was still that barrier, like that mental barrier, right?
Biggest barrier for me is really not seeing myself as a businesswoman. But, I've had no role models to show me that I could be an entrepreneur, to show me that I could be a businesswoman. There was just no reference point for being in business as part of my upbringing. And so it never even crossed my mind to do it. Yeah. And I guess what happened was the absolute belief in the game as an incredibly valuable thing that the world needed was just the thing that's kind of sort of pushed me along to make it happen. I guess actually it's the validation of having received a Woman in Innovation Award, being one of these 40 winners, really, really lucky women from the 650 applicants. That's the thing that said, what you're doing is brilliant and you really need to make this happen. And I guess, there's a step change in my confidence as a consequence of actually receiving the award.
That is so inspiring, right? Because just as you said, that lack of, that vision, right? Where it's you right in the middle of this business world, right? Is something that a lot of people struggle with, right? You can't be what you can't see. One of the great things I like about, the programs that Innovate UK run is the fact that, there's that realization that it's not just about the grants, right? It's about the business support. As well as the mentorship. And it's just, again, knowing that it's really about really kind of building communities that give that 360 experience as well. So there's always somebody you can go talk to. There's always a link and a connection to somebody that might be of use to you. And so it's really that sense of community.
What have you come up against that you've really had to deal with as challenges over your career?
I would say the main challenges are just the perception issues, right? When you think of an engineer, right? This is not the face that kind of comes to your thoughts when you think of an engineer. And so there's that initial, who are you and are you qualified to be here? What advice would you give to women who are thinking of starting a business?
I think the first step is that they already want to be entrepreneurs or they have a brilliant idea. And I'd say congratulations already for just getting to that point. You've got to be doggedly determined to make this stuff happen. But I think you need advice. And actually, don't think I realised quite how much advice is actually out there. So, you know, the Women in Innovation Award is helping me with some of the networking and links, but actually there's a whole load of free advice available for startups, entrepreneurs, small businesses, people who've got a small business taking it to a bigger business. There's loads of free advice out there. You know, what would I say to other women who are doing this is, you know, you've got a lot more resilience than you ever knew you had. Although at the same time, I don't want women to be going into business kind of pretending that we're, you know, women behaving like men in that world. What women have to bring to business is a completely different and fresh perspective.
Absolutely.
You know, and so actually bring that into what you're doing, because as a woman, you have a different view on things.
Do you know what? It's been such a huge pleasure to speak with you, and super energizing as well. I feel like the whole world like needs to hear you experience your product as well. And there's no doubt in my mind that, you know, the right way would have the rights of way, because you've created something that's so right for the world, and so right, it will find its place. It will continue to find its place towards solving some of the big, massive issues that we have in our world. So thank you so much for the privilege and for the honor as well.